Hi, how's everybody doing today? In this video I just want to talk a little bit about switching to the Fuji system from coming from a full-frame digital SLR and some expectations and realizations when I got into the mirrorless system. So I've been having a lot of fun with this, the X-T3 here. Been trying it out in a bunch of different scenarios, general purpose photography, some tabletop photography, testing lenses for sharpness and bokeh rendition and all that. And I did a senior picture shoot this Sunday, fall shoot with some color. We still had leaves. Today's been super windy and all the leaves are gone, so I'm glad I shot the day before yesterday. We still had gorgeous colors in the parkway. I'll show you some sample shots here. And I did the whole shoot with my Nikon D810 primarily, and I was shooting with a couple different lenses there, but because I know how that camera works, and it's a paying client, and I wanted to make sure that they were going to come out, you know, good. I didn't want to test something. You never really want to test new gear on a client. So we did the shoot with the Nikon, which is actually what's filming this video right now, and the SB800 flash with a diffuser on it, and then afterwards, I just kind of pulled this camera out. I'm like, all right, let's go over here. And I started taking a few with the X-T3 to see how it fared with that kind of subject. See how it, you know, the eye focus is nice. I set it on face most of the time, face focus. The focusing system is great. It's tack sharp on the eye. I was thinking I was going to miss the resolution, so 36 megapixels. I was kind of getting tired of touching up little hairs on people's faces or anything just slightly out of adjustment, and I thought this would be better. Touch-ups would go a lot quicker and nobody would ever notice the lack of resolution, or the less resolution, let's say, not really a lack of, because nobody's printing those kind of sizes anyway. I got a D810 and D850 are really for big images, landscape images, and finely detailed like skyline shots. But for a portrait of a person, I thought this would be great. Even group shots, I think this is great. Anyway, so I tried it, and I was impressed. I felt that actually the sharpness I was getting out of this camera was actually out-resolving what I was getting out of the D810 with an autofocus lens. And there could be a couple reasons for that. One of them, I think, is focus precision. The focus sensors being, or the focus sensors being right on the image sensor, I think is a pretty neat thing, and I think that it gives a improvement in autofocus performance. You know, with the digital SLRs, there's all the fine tuning. Everybody's always talking about, oh, I had to go plus 11 on my whatever lens, and I had to go minus 20 on this other lens, and everybody's always worried about fine tuning autofocus. Since most of what I do, I shoot on a tripod, I can look in live view, magnify it, focus it manually, critically, because I shoot mostly scenics. So that was never an issue. But when I get a people shoot to do, having the ability to focus on the face or the eyes is awesome, and it's sharp. It's critically sharp. So I actually think for my senior picture shoot that this camera out-resolved my D810. Therefore, can go bigger and all that stuff without losing resolution. Anyway, so I got the 35 f2 here. One other thing I've realized with the 35 f2, it's not great for video. I shot the one cocktail video, I think the Manhattan was it, whatever the last one I did, with this lens, and I see the video and it was kind of hunting a little bit as I moved around. So the image size was just moving a little bit. So I'm not using that one anymore for video, where I'm using the face detect. I do love face detect for video too, because I don't even have to focus the shot. I just get in it and it locks on my face. But I picked up the 16-55 2.8 lens. I previously had the 17-55 2.8 Nikkor. That was my last professional DX sensor or crop sensor zoom lens. I used that for weddings, and I shot a lot of weddings. That was my breadwinner. I did family pictures with that. It never let me down. But I had a feeling that this lens, you know, we're quite a few years later, that this lens had better optical quality and was going to be better corrected. Love this lens so far. This is the one lens that's not going to be leaving the camera system. It's also lighter. You know, people say it's so big, it's so heavy, it's, you know, for the Fuji system. Well, compare it to a 24-70 2.8 Nikon lens or Canon lens, and it's a lightweight, so it's not really heavy at all. But it's one lens that can replace 3 or 4 lenses. You know, 16, a 23, a 35, and a 55, or a 56 millimeter. You know, so then add up the weight of all those and the space of all those, and it makes more sense. If you need one lens to do it all, I'm really liking this, and I'm not a zoom lens guy either. I've been shooting primes almost exclusively for almost 10 years. I've had very few zooms, except the Sigma 105 or 24-105, which is actually what we're watching this through. I'm shooting this one with. I got that as sort of a general purpose kind of travel lens with the optical stabilization and stuff. So that was specific, for a very specific purpose. But I've been mostly a prime shooter. This one, everything I read was like, it's the prime zoom. It's going to give you that kind of quality. And it even, I was reading, is even better than some of the primes that Fuji has. So I went with it. It works great for video, general purpose stuff, tabletop photography. It's great. And then the one thing that I found, I know I'm just kind of rambling and thinking of these things as or saying it as I'm thinking of it, but the one thing that's really neat that's happening now is the cameras have profiles built in for these lenses. So, well, not that one. But it's like the camera knows the optical flaws of the lens, and it corrects for them. It's crazy. I'm zooming this to a wide angle, and I'm looking for the barrel distortion, and I zoom to 55 millimeter. I'm looking for pincushion distortion, and I'm not seeing any distortion. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And it's because the camera is putting a lens profile on that focal length in camera, and it's attaching it to the raw file too. So I'm importing it into Lightroom, and I'm going to correct the lens. It's already corrected. It's the vignetting's gone, the chromatic aberration is gone, and the distortion is gone. It's pretty impressive. I have to look into that a little more, like what it's actually doing. But so far it seems to me like it's fixing any flaw the lens has right out of the gate. So that's really awesome. So it's like you're getting a perfect lens almost. It's kind of strange. I set this up and did a little photography on just with some Scotch bottles, see how sharp it is, or with my bar, to see the detail in the corners compared to the prime, and it's really close in the corners at 2.8 even. So that's the zoom lens wide open, and that's a stop down, a full stop on the prime lens. So this should be clearly better, but it's pretty close. It's tough to pull apart the difference. There's a lot more lens elements in here too, so I got to do some more comparison for that, and I'll have a video on that comparison too. And then the other lens I picked up is the 35, the Midicon 35.95. Really their normal lens, but it's an ultra fast lens. I've never had a lens this fast. Having the Nikon system, yeah, we've only gone as fast as 1.4, except for that. I know Nikon has gone faster than 1.4 for all practical purposes. 1.4 was the fastest, so I was kind of anxious to see what this was like. You know, shooting handheld and candlelight, kind of like who's that filmmaker that did the Clockwork Orange and stuff? That guy shot with some ultra fast lenses under candlelight and got some pretty awesome shots. So I was thinking that kind of thing. Now I believe that the light transmission is not really 0.95. The T-stop, I guess, is not really 0.95, but it is faster than 1.4. So it's pretty cool. The jury's out on this. It is heavy. It's heavy lens. Everybody that uses it really likes it. So I haven't had any problem manual focusing. It stays pretty sharp where I focus it. So I don't know if I need that much bokeh. I think everybody's got obsessed with bokeh in the past few years. It's kind of like bearding. I was growing a beard when nobody was having a beard, or only a few people had a beard, and now it's like everywhere you go, everybody has a huge beard. So now it's kind of it's a little different. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just talking here, shooting from the hip. So for me, once things get super popular, then I want to be different. I want to try something different. So the bokeh craze got nuts there, you know, bokeh-licious and bokeh everything. Everything's all about the quality of the background blur, and I'm like, I want to try some pictures with more depth of field, you know? Because you don't, you know, I mean, we're seeing all these pictures now, and people are like, oh, I got just the eyelashes sharp, and the eyes and everything are all blurred out. I'm like, oh, is that a good picture? Not really. You know, I don't want to see like just the closest eye sharp. I want to see both eyes sharp. You know, it's getting weird with the bokeh nuts out there. But anyway, for now, the 56mm and the 23mm ended up going back because they said they had some inclusions in there. I'll probably rebuy them at some point. I'm not sure about the 23. Maybe. But anyway, I'm having fun with the camera. That's the main point. Sorry for rambling on. I talk too much. I gotta cook dinner. I'm hungry, so that's my excuse. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take her easy.